Hi all, welcome back to TJM, the Jag Man. First of all, I'd like to thank all my subscribers. We're nearly up to 400 subscribers. That's a lot just in under 2 months, and we're getting about 15,000 hits per month. That's a pretty big deal. And so thank you all for watching my videos, and hopefully you're enjoying them, and there'll be plenty more to come because we've got a stack of work to do on all these old girls. And if you haven't subscribed, please just hit the subscribe button. It really helps my channel a lot. It's been a busy week. We're headed up to our mate's place. He invited us up for the weekend. He has a holiday house on Lake Macquarie on the waterfront with a lovely jetty. And so we stayed there for the weekend. Weather wasn't perfect. It was pretty good. We have this El Nino over here. We drove the XJ8 up, but had to share a driveway with this McCann. I think there was a bit of a language barrier there. I don't think much conversation went on, but she stayed there. A lovely house right on the water, beautiful views. Took the boat out. It started off as nice weather for a while there, and then the rain came and it got a little bit bumpy. So I wasn't able to drink my beer. I didn't want to chip a tooth. But once we got to the harbour area where it was nice and smooth, we were able to moor the boat up in a nice position, and we had a lovely lunch at Lake Macquarie Yacht Club. Shared a couple of bottles of Aussie rosé. Had a really lovely day and had a few swims afterwards. Yep, and that was pretty good. And the following day we took the boat out again. Weather was just about as bad as it was the day before. It was still nice and warm. And we headed to this place called, and I'd never been there, Murray's Beach. It was on the eastern side of Lake Macquarie, and a lovely restaurant. Old mate had a swim while we were there. So it ended up being a pretty good weekend overall. But we're back in our Waggy workshop now, and we're going to be attacking that Series 1, the yellow one, a bit more today. And we're just going to see if we can get some fuel to those carburetors after we clean out all that really yucky fuel that was in there. So bear with us and we'll be there and start do some work on it. Okay, we managed to get in the boot. Wife just had to do a quick mod. Let's see what we've got in here now. Got some old gauges, headlight rings, a little bit interior bit goes under on the left hand dash. 2 lower seals, that look pretty good. Headlights. Probably whack those in. Oh look, those little halogen-y clear things, they look pretty cool. The rag. Oh, the lower parcel trays, they're rare. Most of these ones are gone to God. On both sides you've got the passenger one and the driver's one. They'll clean up alright, and just get them clean, bolt them back in. That's pretty nifty. What else we got here? Boot rubber, that's good. Couple of under sealy bits. Tail lights, mud flaps. All out. Gutter trims, it's pretty groovy. Bloody hawk. That must be for the locking mechanism there. We'll put that back on later. Couple of nuts and bolts. Gorilla. Let's see how the Gorilla looks. Yeah, she's a little bit pitted, but I haven't seen one that's not some sort of pitting on it, so we'll clean that up. Aftermarket splash guards. More underbody bit, wheel brace. That looks like something to get those silly wire wheels off. What I want to do is flush this fuel tank, and it's still leaking that old varnish. And I don't have a rubber seal for that main drain bolt in there. I might have to make one up. I've ordered some from Melbourne, but they're going to take a few days to get here. I want to get some fuel on that before that happens. I just hooked up the battery, and we do have power to the pumps, but they're not working, so we'll have a look at that. Well, I've just taken that SU pump out and just installed this little electric clicky clacker. But just looking around that boot area, it is British Racing green, but it's just no rot. It's very dry and pretty well preserved in here. I'm just going to pull apart that filter and clean the crap out of that, and then we'll throw some fresh fuel in it and pump it through the lines up to the carbies. Wow, look at that. That's foul, man. I don't think I'll even put that little rusty filter back in there. I'll put an inline filter further down the line, close to the carburetors for the time being. Just pulled the big drain out of the back of the bottom of the tank. Looks pretty, just rust in there. But doesn't mean the tank's are stuffed. We'll just have to clean a lot of that crap out. Just going to throw some clean fuel down that tank. Just see if we can wash it out a bit. That didn't work. You have to take the plug off, might work, but do that. Ugh. Ugh. Pretty bad. A lot of rust in there. Okay, off camera, I've hooked up the little electric clicky clacker. I had to put a new fuel line in there. I've put a fuel filter in front of the clicky clacker, so it's going to grab all the dirt there before it goes through the pump. We still have pretty dirty fuel going through that filter reservoir there, but we've pumped it all the way through to the front of the engine, and I've taken off one float valve at the moment, and I've just cleaned it with some clean fuel, and I've pumped a lot of clean fuel right through the system, so she'll pump relatively clean fuel into the carbies now, and hopefully we won't have to pull those carburetors apart too much. But I'll also get this float one on the other side. I'll just open it up. This float was stuck on the bottom of the float chamber, but just a little bit of penetrating oil got it out. She's floating nicely, and the needle is floating nicely in there, so that'll be all good. So I'll get that back together, and I'll pull this one apart also and see how we're going with it. This one was also a little bit stuck. A little bit of fuel's freed it up, so we'll get that cover back on it. Okay, we've got fuel pumping to the carbies now. We'll just turn on that ignition and see if they're not leaking anywhere. Did have a few drops out of there, but I think that's dry now. Filling up those bowls. There's a bit of a weep from the AED. We'll just keep an eye on that. Feels a lot cleaner in there now, not perfect, but enough to get it started. Now I haven't even checked for spark yet or anything like that, but let's just give it a crank, shall we? She's cranking slowly. We might just throw a bit more power into that battery. Booster's on, let's see how we go. Might just squirt a bit of go juice in there. And if it kicks, at least we know we've got spark. Oh, look at that. We got spark. that's a start. Okay, we'll give it another go. Show the thunder. We're getting there. Give that starter motor a bit of a break. Just going to take these pots off to see if the needles are sticky before we give it another crank. These are HD8 carburetors, SUH HD8. If you want a good explanation on how these work, just jump over to Living with It. Classic Adam Clementson does a really simplistic but complete description on how these things work. Just quickly remove that. Take the spring out. Don't get those holes ever mixed up because these chambers are machined to the particular bowl. Oh, she's flooding the guts out in there. Let's fix that up. She's overflowing. She's got so much fuel in there, she's just dripping all over the joint. And she's pretty dirty. So we'll just give these a clean up first. Oh yeah, look, that needle's all stuck. That's not going to be working. We'll have to give these a clean and then we'll give it another crank and see how we go. Yeah, that's looking a bit cleaner. I'll clean this one up. Most likely we'll have to pull those carburetors completely down because those jets most likely blocked. But I do have a set of HD8s over there that are ready to go if I want to whack them on it, but we'll just see if we can get these cleaned up a bit further. A bit of oil. And these dashpots, these dashpots still had oil in them, which is a pretty good sign, not leaking. Now these SU carburetors had a 90-year lifespan from the first car that had them to the last car. I think the last car was about 1993. So it just goes to show their proven reliability has been a good carburetor. A bit more go juice. Roll the thunder. I've got a flat battery and that booster's also flat. I'll come back once we give that a bit of a charge up. Looks like I have to do more work on these carbies. They're not going. The mixture screw on this side's jammed tight, doesn't move. The one on the other carby does. So they either have to be pulled down or it might be just easier to just whiz those off that manifold and whack them ons. But I mean, it's all part of it. Well, looks like we'll have to do some more work on those carbies. I'm up here for a couple of days, so hopefully, if depends on what wifey has planned for me tomorrow, I might be able to whiz them across and we'll get that new video happening. So we'll end up in this one, episode 2. Episode 3 should be coming up pretty quick. And just thank you all guys again. Oh, just one other thing, I forgot all about it. Thank you everybody for the comments in regards to the left-hand drive thing. This thing wasn't a left-hand drive. My mistake, I looked at the body number and I saw a 5. 5 generally means left-hand drive when it begins with, but there was a digit missing. I was jumping to too many conclusions. So it's definitely a right-hand drive car. It's definitely a manual car. We've worked out from other comments. Thank you for the date codes on the glass. They show it's a 1970 model, at least the glass is. How do you know with this thing? So we'll conclude it, and just a reminder, if you haven't subscribed, just hit that little handsome bloke down there. As I say, the more subscribers I get, the happier man I am, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Also, don't forget to push up the like button. Thanks guys, catch you next one.